In my experience as a family lawyer, I found that many people think legal separation is the same as divorce, only faster and cheaper. In Tennessee, that couldn't be further from the truth. Hi, I'm Miles Mason. I'm a divorce attorney and the founder of the Miles Mason Family Law Group. We represent clients in the greater Memphis, Collierville, and Germantown, Tennessee areas. Today, I will explain how legal separation is different from divorce in Tennessee law. You may have heard of, quote, divorce from bed and board, close quote. That's simply another name for legal separation. It's not some special type of divorce. As you watch this video, you and your spouse may already be separated, wondering what to do next, file for divorce or file for legal separation. When you consult an experienced lawyer, you'll learn that the same court proceedings are common to both, but divorce and legal separation are not the same thing legally. Here's the basic distinction between the two. After a divorce, the parties are free to marry other people, and the bonds of matrimony are dissolved forever. This is sometimes called, quote, absolute divorce, close quote. By contrast, the parties are still married after their legal separation. Otherwise, the process of legal separation in Tennessee parallels divorce. This is the question you need to ask. What can legal separation do that divorce can't? The answer is very little. The grounds alleged for legal separation are essentially the same as divorce. Irreconcilable differences, adultery, abandonment, inappropriate marital conduct, habitual drunkenness, and so on. With divorce, the court will equitably divide, distribute, or assign all marital property between you and your spouse. With legal separation, the court has discretion to divide the property or not to. Discretion means the judge can enter the order now or leave the property issue for later. But most divorcing parties will both want to divide the marital property depending on the circumstances. When property is equitably divided, anything acquired after the decree of legal separation is separate property being that which only belongs to one spouse. But what if the judge decides to reserve the division of property for later? Eventually that time will arrive, and the spouses are back in court to resolve the property division issue. Clearly, there is no time savings or cost savings in that process. These are the three main points you should take away from this discussion. Number one, the idea that legal separation will cost less than divorce is a myth. Legal separation is not a cheap divorce. It's not an easy divorce. It's not a quickie divorce. The reason why legal separation won't save you money is that it involves the same process, the same proceedings as an absolute divorce. There's property to divide. There's alimony to award. There are child custody decisions to make. And then there's, of course, child support to be ordered. Because legal separation involves the very same proceedings as a divorce, it can be every bit as expensive. Number two, when deciding whether to file for legal separation or divorce, legal separation may be the sensible choice, but only in very rare circumstances. If you want to be divorced but need to continue health insurance coverage, then legal separation may be the best way to proceed. That's because divorce is a terminating event for most health insurance coverage, whereas legal separation may not be a terminating event depending on the particular health insurance policy. If health insurance coverage is through your employer, your spouse will still be covered after a legal separation under most policies. By contrast, your insurance won't cover your former spouse after the divorce. That being said, your ex may still be eligible for COBRA coverage, but that's not the same thing as being on your policy as a spouse. Similarly, if you have some other estate planning reason, then legal separation may be a sensible choice for you. For instance, it may be necessary to stay married in order to continue as a beneficiary under trust. Legal separation is not a sensible choice if you plan to remarry. You must have a divorce decree to marry somebody else. Legal separation is not a sensible choice if you want to be free of your spouse's debts or legal problems such as bankruptcy, personal injury lawsuit, or other issues, for example. Number three, let's say you and your spouse do obtain a decree of legal separation. After 2 years pass, either of you may convert the legal separation into divorce without the other's consent. You already incurred the cost of legal separation. 2 years later, you could be back in court for a decree of divorce and possibly some other legal proceeding. Marital property that was not divided in legal separation must be divided in the divorce. When divorce follows legal separation, and it often does, the total cost may exceed what the original divorce alone could have cost. There's one last point I want to make. When spouses don't agree on legal separation and when one spouse wants a legal separation, usually the other wants a divorce. It's the divorce case most often that will go forward. I'm Miles Mason from the Miles Mason Family Law Group. Thanks for joining me.